Another exciting edition of Out There, brought to you by the great folks at Patriot Trading Group. And boy, do they have a deal for you this week.
We'll tell you about it later on. Evening, everybody, and welcome to the show, program number 228, in case you're keeping track, in a wild show coming up tonight. Back to our roots.
Back to our roots with extraterrestrials. Our guest is Jim Hickman, who was on probably 4 years ago. He's just returned with 3 new books. This one is called The Alien Menace. He has The Rancher's Nightmare. And these are not the cute little grays that we're told they are. We've got some kind of unsettling information.
Yeah, these guys have a sign on their spaceship that says anal probes are us.
You've just been waiting all week to say that.
They're nasty. They're not the cute little grays you think they are. Anyway, we do have a great show tonight. No video tonight. Lots of pictures of the newscast. And I'm full of P&Z after having a week off.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Kind of unexpected, but it was a nice little relax.
Anyway,
lots of news.
Say we get to the news.
We'll get to the news because we have all kinds of neat stuff to talk about afterwards. During the height of the summer travel season and right on schedule, a created terror plot has been revealed that once again conditions travelers to accept crushing security measures.
The alleged plot to mix a sports drink with a gel-like substance to concoct explosives that could be ignited with an MP3 player or cell phone. Officials say the sports drink could be combined with a peroxide to form an explosive cocktail.
So in yet another exercise created to assess how subservient the general population has become, the government has succeeded in rushing into effect ridiculous restrictions on what one can and cannot carry onto an airplane.
Well, now passengers can no longer carry any liquids, including bottled water, on the planes, and instead must pour them into bins inside the airport. You have to wonder what Einstein decided on this theatrical device.
If these liquids are potentially explosive, why would you pour them all into large bins inside overcrowded airports, mixing them all together? If you were a real terrorist, you could take this as a gift, throw a match in the barrel and boom, wipe out the whole airport.
The only conclusion you can reach here is that airport security is not looking for terrorists. Because if they truly believed terrorists were attempting to board planes with liquids, they wouldn't be mishandling them this way.
This latest facade is just another step in making permanent freedom-crushing security measures that have been rushed into implementation. Next, they'll be saying that the only way to solve this problem is to institute biometric retina scanners and Orwellian behavior sensing technology, which has already been tested in Israel.
Created terror scares are the only way they will be able to implement this stuff without backlash and protest, and it will soon extend beyond airports to schools and malls and even government buildings.
You can stop this, though, folks, unless it's a life and death matter. Don't fly. Refuse to subject yourself to this nonsense. If you already have reservations, cancel them. Tell the airline why. And if you've been thinking about flying, simply don't. But call the airlines and travel agents and tell them why you're not going to spend your money.
And Kate has written an incredible article about this, and it's posted on our website, and I think the op-ed website.
opednews.com.
A lot of response.
It even ended up on rents.com.
Take a minute and read her article. If enough people stop flying and the airlines know why they're losing even more money, we will win. But we've got to stick together.
Right, people. We received a letter we thought we'd share with you. It's from Jim Hickela, former National Security Agency trained electronic warfare specialist.
Well, Mr. Hickela was in charge of all electronic warfare intercept, strategic signal processing, and storage systems, and that includes knowing which planes are equipped with remote control and the software limitations of all Boeing aircraft. Boeing 757s and 67s are the only 2 Boeing commuter aircraft capable of fully autonomous flight.
He tells us in simple terms, this means they can be programmed to take off, fly to a destination, and land completely without a pilot at the controls. They are intelligent planes and have certain software limits preset so that pilot error cannot cause passenger injury. Though they are physically able to of high-G maneuvers, the software in their flight control systems prevents all high-G maneuvers from being performed via the cockpit controls in all modern-day aircraft.
All commercial Boeing aircraft are limited to approximately 1.5 Gs. This is so that a pilot mistake cannot end up breaking Grandma's neck. However, the plane that hit the Pentagon approached the actual physical limits of the aircraft itself, and military personnel have calculated that the Pentagon plane pulled between 5 and 7 Gs in its final turn.
Furthermore, the cell phone calls from the aircraft could not have happened, he says. When you make a cell phone call, the first thing that happens is that your cell phone needs to contact a transponder. Cell phones have a maximum transmit power of 5 watts. If an aircraft is going 500 miles an hour, a cell phone cannot contact a tower, nor can it inform the tower of who you are or your cell provider.
Finally, at 500 miles an hour, no cell phone could establish with a cell tower that it's in a roaming area, let alone make a phone call before it passes out of a 5-watt range. At 500 miles an hour, the aircraft will travel 3 times the range of a cell phone's 5-watt transmitter before what's called electronic handshaking can occur.
If 911 proves to not be enough to make the U.S. citizenry accept a nation under surveillance and the abolition of personal freedoms, just remember the people who carried out 9/11 also have access to nuclear materials, and 911 must be exposed for what it was before that material is used. And that is signed by Jim Haikila, former National Security Agency trained electronic warfare intercept strategic signal processing storage systems specialist. He's got to know what he's talking about.
I would think so. You know, you've been hearing us talk about the strange mystery disease called Morgellons for the past year on this program. And last week, our hats go off to ABC Primetime News for also covering this incredible story.
ABC reports that they were told that after contacting the CDC in Atlanta, Morgellons is not considered a problem or even a real disease. Of course, you have to tell that to the more than 2,000 victims that have sprung up across the country.
However, if you have Morgellons, you know it. Sufferers experience neurological problems and expel strange-looking, almost alien fibers from their bodies. Victims also report it feels like bugs are crawling beneath the surface of the skin.
One lady who has suffered from the disease for over 2 years and was ridiculed by her doctor actually took a knife and tried cutting through her skin to remove what she felt like were bugs in the middle of the night. One thing the CDC has admitted, though, after examining the fibers protruding from the skin, it's now known they are composed of cellulose, but are not identifiable as any known form of the fiber on Earth.
Some of these graphics are pretty graphic themselves. Making the story even more intriguing is the fact that the human body does not have the capacity to produce cellulose. So even if these fibers are the residue of some sort of parasite, the way that they're being produced remains a mystery.
But there's a bigger danger. It seems the disease is highly contagious. Unfortunately, no one yet can offer any recommendations about how to prevent it. Turning this story into a major possible conspiracy is the fact that cellulose fibers have been found in chemtrail residue. We've done many shows on this subject without drawing a conclusion.
You know, after listening to our recent guest, Clifford Carnicom, an aerosol and chemtrail expert, we now know for certain that microscopic cellulose fibers, perhaps containing some bug or virus that burrows under human skin, are being released in chemical chemtrail spraying.
It has to make you wonder if someone knows full well what they're doing and that it may be the beginning of a population control experiment or a sick plan by some pharmaceutical company to increase profits. Over the past 5 years, we've had many stories on whether we actually went to the moon or not back in 1969, and there's compelling evidence on both sides.
Well, now the U.S. government says it's misplaced the original recordings of the first moon landing, including astronaut Neil Armstrong's famous "One Small Step for Man, One Giant Leap for Mankind" tape.
Armstrong's famous spacewalk, seen by millions of viewers on July 20th, 1969, is among transmissions that NASA has failed to turn up after a year of searching. The tapes also contain data about the health of the astronauts and the condition of the spacecraft. In all, some 700 boxes of transmissions from the Apollo lunar missions are missing.
How does that happen? NASA says it retained a few copies of the TV broadcast and has a few clips on their website, but those images are of much lower quality than the original stored on the missing magnetic tapes. According to NASA, their equipment was not compatible with TV technology. Oh, yeah. And the original transmissions had to be reshot by a TV camera for broadcast. Just watch Bart Sabrell's movie. A funny thing happened on the way to the moon.
Good news. We're getting Bart Sabrell on the show in September.
Cool.
NASA's Greg Hatzaloma warns that even if the magnetic tapes are found, they'll probably be unplayable, though, because they've degraded significantly over the last 36 years. Oh, yeah. The 700 boxes of lunar transmissions, including man's supposed first walk on the moon, was held by the National Archives but returned to NASA sometime in the late 1970s. A NASA spokesman said, "We're looking through all our paperwork to see where they last were."
And in an amazing side note, a guy living in Alberta, Canada, says he's developed a powerful 6-foot homemade telescope using crystal lenses instead of glass lenses that can clearly see small artifacts on the moon. He says, after all, the moon is only 286,000 miles away.
76-year-old retiree Clive Restrick says he searched and searched for the lunar rover and the U.S. flag on the moon's surface, but he says they're just not up there. However, the day after he told this on a radio talk show, he was awakened by 3 men in black who threatened him with prison and then ransacked his home and confiscated the homemade telescope. Restrick doesn't even know who to sue for the intrusion because, as he says, they didn't even have the courtesy of leaving a business card.
Now, by them doing that, doesn't it admit that what he's saying is accurate?
Seems like it.
Dr. Stephen Greer of the Disclosure Project, after more than a year of silence, now says yes. SETI has been receiving multiple extraterrestrial signals. This news, he says, is confirmed by a number of senior employees within the SETI program, but they've been forbidden to discuss it.
Dr. Greer said, though we have confirmation that SETI has been receiving signals, now there's a different problem. The NRO and NSA are jamming those signals, and SETI officials are getting very frustrated.
Dr. Stephen Greer is head of the Disclosure Project, a nonprofit organization with almost 500 former military, intelligence, and government employees who are on congressional record about their experiences with aliens and alien technology.
For Dr. Greer to come out and make a statement of this magnitude, you have to know something is definitely up. But don't expect to hear about it on mainstream media. For more information, go to disclosureproject.org.
Well, the summer of 2006 is proving to be yet another spectacular year for crop circles in England. There have already been close to a dozen since June, and one of the most beautiful and intricate crop circles was discovered in southern England just last week.
This latest formation comes during a year when exceptionally hot and rainy weather delayed the start of the season, and when farmers have been destroying circles almost as fast as they are created.
But why are farmers destroying them so quickly this year? Well, it's because UK government officials have told farmers to stop accommodating photographers and researchers and to destroy the formations and their messages as quickly as possible.
The question is, what can they be so afraid of? Interestingly, both the U.S. and British military have been present in the crop circle areas this year. And yet, despite this, you can't keep our UK crop circle contact, Steve Alexander, from flying over them and taking video and photographs.
And thanks to him for the photographs we're showing tonight. By the way, the official word on this latest crop circle is that 2 drunken kids with boards were responsible for the mathematically precise lines carried out overnight in the dark during a rainstorm. And for the latest on the UK formations, go to Steve and Karen Alexander's website at temporarytemples.co.uk.
Befitting end for this newscast with our extraterrestrial visitors coming up. I hope those messages aren't, we're coming to eat you.
So many secrets.
Mm-hmm.
All right, listen, we're going to get to our commercial break. And by the way, all the music on tonight's program is from Neil Young. He's currently with Crosby, Stills, and Nash on a cross-country Stop the War concert program. And the music you're hearing are all cuts from his latest album. We'll be right back.
Looking for a leader to bring our country home. Reunite the red, white, and blue before it turns to stone. Looking for somebody strong enough to take it
is from what we understand. Mark, were you close enough to be able to see any markings on the airplane?
Hi, gentlemen. How you doing? Yeah, there was definitely a blue logo with a circular logo on the front of the plane. It definitely did not look like a commercial plane. I didn't see any windows on the side.
Mark, if what you say is true, those could be cargo planes or something like that. You said you didn't see any windows on the side?
I didn't see any windows inside. It was not a normal flight that I've ever seen at an airport. It was a plane that had a blue logo on the front, and it did not look like it belonged in this area.
Plane wasn't no airline regular. It was a twin-engine, big gray plane.
Is global warming real? Do UFOs and ETs exist? Who was really behind the 9/11 attack? Come to the Little Shop of Knowledge, where books, CDs, and great conversation might just help you find the answer. Come down to Music, Mind, and Matter. Your inner child screaming to get out? Has stress become your middle name? Then come down to Music, Mind, and Matter, where sound therapy, great books, relaxing music, and aromatherapy can help soothe that status beat.
The Ace Paint Maker is a unique computer color matching system that reads almost any sample and gives you exactly the right color paint in seconds. Then your helpful hardware folks can mix up your Ace Paint right away. The right color at the right price. So bring your color swatch, paint chips, or any other bright idea to the Ace Paint place near you today and meet your match.
Visit the friendly folks at Floyd's Ace Hardware, your local Ace Paint dealer. Not your crown.
It's not your music. It's not your favorite color. It's not your neighborhood.
It's your watch.
It's your watch.
It's your watch that tells most about who you are. Men's Kinetic Perpetual, ladies' diamonds, men's chronograph, the Couture collection from Seiko. Jewelry of Romance on Frontage Road, 751-9636. Kathy Slaughterback has served the community of Pahrump since 1994. Kathy and her all-star staff provide the best in fast, efficient, and caring customer service. To list your home or property, to find out what is on both the residential and commercial market all over Pahrump, or to find a dream home for you and your family, call Kathy Slaughterback and her all-star staff at All-Star Real Estate, 727-8884. All-Star is the place for you.
You've been hearing us talk about the advantages of owning gold for a long time. Without doubt, in this upside-down world, it's one of the smartest things you can do. And we don't mean jewelry. The kind of gold we're talking about is American minted gold coins, real currency issued by the U.S. government. As we've said before, when the fat lady finally sings, gold will enable you to retain your assets when the world comes crumbling down. And everybody knows it's only a matter of time. When you have a savings account or own real estate, the government knows to the penny how much you've got stashed away. Not so with gold, and that's the way it should be, private. And to get you started, Patriot has authorized us to offer the new 1-ounce American Buffalo at 1% above mint cost. Yours for $6.95 and only for out there viewers this week. So call the Patriot Trading Company and talk to the friendliest, most knowledgeable people in the business. Call 1-800-951-0592 and have the new American Buffalo delivered to your door.
Jim Hickman has been a UFO investigator for over 40 years and has served as the president of Skywatch International. Jim has literally written the book on UFO investigations.
And his first book, 5,000 Years of UFOs, explores the reality of UFO and extraterrestrial activity in our history. And his second book explores the impact of hostile actions taken by some of the occupants of those UFOs.
Jim joins us tonight to talk about the alien menace and to delve into the issue of cattle and human mutilations. Welcome, Jim.
Well, thank you and good evening.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. So, Richard, you had a question before.
I can't remember
you can't
now.
remember. So the little grays, we're not looking at little gray friendly guys here, are we?
Well, I think we're looking at a variety of alien races. I use the term alien loosely. People from other planets, galaxies, dimensions. We're not sure, but they're not from here. And they come in all ranges, from being the friendly type to being overtly hostile. But the vast majority of them are very scientific-minded, more or less observer of the human race.
So, Jim, are these the group of extraterrestrials that are conducting the experiments when they abduct human beings?
Well, the Greys have been noted for the abduction phenomenon, and a lot of people have worked on that research, and the Greys are mostly responsible for that, but I don't think they're responsible for the things that we're seeing as far as injuries and cattle mutilations, things like that. I really don't think that there's a particular group of aliens that's involved in this.
Tell us about some of the more interesting cases of hostile UFOs, Jim. Have they actually ever attacked an airplane, say?
Oh, there's been literally hundreds of cases of people being injured or even killed by encounters with UFOs. As you know, I have worked for quite a few years in the fire service, and I teach fire science as one of my daytime jobs. And one of the books that we teach from is called The Fire Officer's Guide to Disaster Control. And it says in, I believe it's chapter 14, while pursuing UFOs, military aircraft have disappeared in midair, exploded, and suffered harassment. Persons on the ground have sustained serious burns, paralysis, and blows from force fields. Also, radiated emissions, rays, and beams have been described as that of a stun gun. And this is an official government FEMA book that they put out to teach people how to handle UFO encounters. And yes, there's been many reports of UFOs and aircraft. Just to give you just a few, I'm sure you've probably heard of the Aviation Safety in America report that came out a few years ago. Their data had over 100 pilot and crew reports of encounters with what they're calling UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, which we call UFOs in the layman's field. They had 56 near misses. And these created such violent, evasive reactions by the pilots that it actually injured passengers and flight attendants. Probably one of the most famous cases that I want to talk about tonight. I don't want to get into things that everybody else really talks about because it's pretty much been talked about. So I have some reports that people haven't heard of, but that have made the press that I consider to be very relevant.
Cool, let's hear them.
Excuse me?
Cool, let's hear them.
Yeah, the first report comes from the Cleveland Press, and this is from Wednesday, July 30th, 1952, and it's written by Charles Tracy, the aviation editor. And it talks about a veteran Air Force pilot in his F-51 fighter was attacked repeatedly by a flying saucer. And this occurred at 8,000 feet over Augusta, Georgia. The pilot's name was First Lieutenant George Kingman of Birmingham, Alabama. And he was a veteran of over 7 years service, including service in World War II. And while returning from a practice mission, he literally described that he had the daylight scared out of him. He was over Augusta, about 80 miles from his home base. And quoting him, he says, I was cruising at about 250 miles an hour. All of a sudden, I noticed something ahead closing in on me. Before I could take evasive action, before I even thought of it, in fact, this thing dipped abruptly and passed underneath me and just missed my propeller. He describes this object as definitely disc-shaped. He describes it as white, thick, and it looked like an oval, about twice as big as his F-51 fighter. Had no protrusions like rotors, guns, or anything like that. He turned around and he was able to see the craft, but within 15 seconds, the disc came directly at him again from the front. And once again, he had to make an evasive maneuver to avoid the collision. This happened repeatedly for 5 to 10 minutes. And each time as he looked back behind him, this craft disappeared. He wasn't able to get any film footage, gun camera footage, unfortunately. He described that he was pretty much upset and scared by this whole thing. And he radioed the nearest Civil Aeronautics Authority, the predecessors to the FAA. And he reported this. And of course, they had no record on it at all. But he described on the final pass, this disc whirled upwards, and he thought it was going to take a piece of the canopy of his aircraft with it. And then it disappeared.
Oh, I bet you he had to make a quick landing and get to a restroom, huh?
Yeah, I imagine he did. He actually had to make a report to his
superiors,
commanding officers, including the folks at the Air Materials Command. And some of the folks laughed it off, and other people thought that he was pulling a hoax. But other high-up officers thought it was a serious incident. And as far as we know, this is the first actual attack by a flying saucer. Of course, the first files have literally thousands that we just don't have access to.
Jim, we need to get to a commercial break here, and when we come back, I know you've got more incredible stories to tell us. This is one of the books this is actually Jim's newest, isn't it?
Yes.
The Rancher's Nightmare. You're watching out there, and our music tonight is by Neil Young and the Living with War album. We'll be right back.
Stars hold the secret to your future. Get your personal daily horoscope by picking up your cell phone and texting the message STARS 33 to 40100. Find out what the stars have to say about your money, your love, your relationships. Pick up your cell phone and text the message STARS 33 to 40100 and get your personal daily horoscope. Find out the answers to your questions like, is today the right day to dump my boyfriend? Should I really be looking for a new job? Should I stay with my old job because the big raise is on the way? Should I tell my boss I have a problem or wait for a better time? Find out the answers in the stars by texting the message STARS 33 to 40100. It's just that simple. Text the message STARS 33 to 40100 and you'll never have to wonder again about what to do. It's simple. Just text STARS 33 to 40100. That's STARS 33 to 40100, and you'll always be up to date with the stars.
Switching to a lower-priced internet service doesn't have to be a gamble. With People PC Online, everyone's a winner. See for yourself. Go to peoplepc.com now to try us free for 30 days. You get unlimited internet access for only $10.95 a month, and the only thing you'll leave behind is the high price. People PC Online has a smart dialer with more local access numbers than AOL for faster, more reliable connections. Want more? You even get security tools to help protect you from spam, pop-ups, and email viruses. And you can continue to use your favorite instant messenger, all for only $10.95 a month. No wonder so many members tell others about People PC Online. Ready to compare us side by side with your current ISP? Go to peoplepc.com for a quick download of our easy-to-use software, or call 1-800-943-8207. People PC Online, a better way to internet.
Red, the only place in town where you can get the tightest selection of SRH, Skin, No Fear, Famous, Metal Militia, and more. We have everything you need for the guys and the girls. We've got your motocross accessories with MX gear, jerseys, goggles, gloves, and helmets. Check out our swimwear, wallets, and shoes. We've remodeled our store and brought in more of your favorite clothes, hats, beanies, belts, buckles, and more. Come to the happening place in town. Come to Fred.
Does your car interior, truck interior, boat interior look like this?
And here's my new interior. Red and white match the car. Got custom visors, custom floor mats, and everything matches up.
Keith and Pam are very excellent people. They do very good quality work. That's why I chose to use them in my covering of my seat on my wife's E450.
I'm completely satisfied. Pam and Keith did an excellent job.
Discount Upholstery, locally owned and operated, 702-505-3275.
And we're back with Jim Hickman on the phone talking about the alien menace. Jim, in your books, there are so many stories about, some of them are, it seems to be deliberate attacks by UFOs, but another one seems to almost like this woman, Betty Cash. It wasn't a deliberate thing that she was injured. Tell us about that incident.
Are we talking about
Betty Cash. And there were two other people in the car, Betty Cash and Lundgren.
Betty Cash,
yes.
Cash Landon incident.
Right.
This happened, of course, back in December 29th of 1980 in Huffman, Texas. And first investigated by John Schurzig, soon-to-be ex-director of MUFON. And Betty was one of three people who were injured by a UFO close encounter. What happened was that Betty, along with Vicky and their grandson Colby Landrum, encountered a huge UFO accompanied by military helicopters in the Texas piney woods. They were exposed to radiation from this object. This caused extreme medical problems such as burns, eye damage, hair loss. They had all kinds of stomach and intestinal problems. The government has refused to acknowledge the event existed or has assisted them in any way throughout the years. One thing, side note to this, is that the area where this incident occurred, the government came along and actually dug up the entire roadbed and replaced it with new concrete because of the burn marks.
So we have a little sketch there that you provided to us. So when this ship, it seems to almost look like a terrestrial rocket with the flames coming out of the bottom. I've never heard of that before on these things.
Well, it was described as sort of looking like a diamond shape,
right.
Kind of standing on end. And they had such burns that the inside dashboard of the car burned. And after the encounter, Betty Cash was hospitalized and treated for burns. The extent of her injuries were so great she was forced to close her business and never worked again. She spent most of her life after that in intensive care. And she eventually developed cancer, which was fortunately successfully treated. But in November of 1998, she suffered a stroke, and on the 29th of December, she passed away.
So she didn't have a very good experience, and it doesn't seem like it was a purposeful thing on the part of the UFO. But there was another one in 1976. A police officer encountered a UFO in Wisconsin. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of these sort of cases with police officers and others that we brought out in the book of the Alien Menace, and this case happened in Wisconsin. I call it an encounter of the worst kind. And this happened back on April 22nd, 1976. Police officer's name was George Wheeler, and he was called to investigate a flaming red object which was hovering 100 feet or so over central Elmwood. As the report is, he was being abruptly ceased to function. Sometime later, a gentleman named David Moots, who's a local resident, saw the patrol car sitting silently and unlit in the middle of the downtown street. Inside of the patrol car, Officer Wheeler was found barely conscious. The ambulance was called, and the technicians tried to save his life and reach the emergency ward. He claimed on the en route to the hospital that he had been hit in the chest with a painful red ray that shot from the UFO through his windshield.
Wow.
Now, his health rapidly deteriorated for causes that doctors could not determine. He was perfectly healthy beforehand. He was working as a police officer. As you know, police officers are probably one of our most credible witnesses.
Sure.
He repeatedly told the doctors to their disbelief that he was dying from the effects of internal injuries caused by alien beings. Within 6 months of his encounter, he died of what they describe as unknown causes.
For heaven's
and
sake.
to this day, we still don't know what he died from. But it all started from his encounter back in April of '76.
Yeah,
with this UFO.
that would be a pretty credible witness coming from a seasoned police officer. I mean, and these UFOs, they've appeared almost everywhere. I know both of us have seen them firsthand, and they've even taken a flight over the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. in 1952. What happened with that incident, Jim?
Well, that was quite a big deal, actually. Some people have come to a conclusion in their own minds that it was false radar images from temperature inversions over the Washington, D.C. area. But basically what happened was that unidentified objects violated the secure airspace over the White House several times throughout this July 26, 27, 1952. These objects were seen on the ground, they were seen in the air by interceptor pilots, and they were also picked up on radar. So that gives us 3 independent witnesses of these objects. Al Chop, who was working for Project Blue Book for the Air Force at the time, was one of the witnesses who saw the object not only in the air but on the CAA's radar in Washington. This was described by Harry Barnes, who's the senior air traffic controller, as not ordinary aircraft, as he describes it. He saw, for 6 hours, he saw 10 unidentifiable objects moving around Washington. These made national headlines, of course, and the Air Force put out the story, I believe, to stop any sort of panic that may come out. Of course, you remember the War of the Worlds from 1938. They put out the idea that this was a temperature inversion.
Yeah, well, there's enough hot air over Washington. I'm sure it could have been a temperature inversion. Didn't something happen again in 2002 similar, though?
It sure did. I actually have a transcript here from July 26, 2002, which coincidentally is exactly 50 years to the day. I'm sure you know Shep Smith with Fox News. He reported the nighttime skies over the nation's capital was alive with blue and orange lights streaking across the sky. People called it a radio station and described that it jets were in hot pursuit. NORAD, the North American Air Command, confirmed to Fox News that two F-16s did scramble but found nothing. And they described this as a mystery in the sky above Andrews Air Force Base.
Cool.
And
Jim, we're going to have to take a commercial break. Sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
When we come back, we're going to talk about those mutilations. Got to get to those.
Yeah, and human mutilation,
yes.
too. This is something new. All right, let's get back to some Neil Young music. Stay with us.
Our younger son is going off to war, fighting in the age-old battle we sometimes won before. Flags that fly on Main Street are blowing in the wind. These must be the flags of freedom fly.
Hi, I'm John Scher, CEO and founder of Video Professor. I'm the guy that gives away the free computer learning lessons. Well, today I'm here to tell you about a great new lesson that many of you have been asking for. And here it is, how to buy and sell on eBay. And I'll give it to you free. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'll make you the next millionaire selling an attic full of baseball cards, but I can guarantee you that I'll teach you everything you need to know about eBay. And again, I'll send you this lesson free. Now, I can do this because I know that once you try my lesson on eBay, you'll be so satisfied that the next time you need to learn anything about computers, you'll come back to Video Professor for all your computer learning needs. And with over 40 lessons on all of today's most popular computer programs, I know there is more you want to learn. And don't forget, call now and I'll send you eBay or any other lesson of your choice free. And I guarantee your satisfaction. Or I'll send you $10. So what do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call 1-800-236-7106.
Have you always wanted to play the guitar? Or how about the piano or the harp? Can you imagine a more beautiful instrument? Well, Music Mind Matter has everything you need from guitars, violins, keyboards, amps, and harps to harmonicas, strings, and accessories. And if we don't have it, we can get it. There's also a great selection of books for every instrument, with lots of choices to teach yourself. Or take lessons with us on piano, harp, or violin. Drop by today because we know music at Music Mind and Matter.
For all your heating and cooling needs, call John Air. John Air is family-owned and operated and offers over 25 years of experience. We also specialize in commercial refrigeration, and we offer new installation of sheet metal. Are your air ducts dirty? Having problems with your allergies? We have the state-of-the-art high-tech dust clean introducing Rotobrush with cameras to see those hard-to-get places. Remember, what you don't see can hurt you. Call John Air today at 751-2372 or 751-9258.
Visiting Angels non-medical home care services allow people to maintain the independence of their daily routines and familiar surroundings. We recruit caregivers with strong home care experience and character. You choose the caregiver you trust. You're in charge, and Visiting Angels adjusts to your schedule. Don't settle for less. Visiting Angels will never compromise in providing high-quality services to your family. Visiting Angels, America's personal choice in home care.
According to the CDC, every day, 4,400 kids like us between the ages of 12 and 17 start smoking in the United States. Are you setting a good example for us by smoking?
We know you're ready to be a positive role model. Let our laser treatment be your new beginning.
It takes just one visit and costs just $2.99. About the cost of a couple of months' supply of cigarettes for the typical smoker. Call 868-STOP and stop smoking today. The New Beginnings way. It's easier than you think.
Jim, there are a lot of people that we've run into over the last few years that say, wouldn't it be great if we had an encounter with an extraterrestrial being? But, that may not be such a great thing to wish for. We just found out by reading one of your books called The Rancher's Nightmare and the Alien Menace that they are also mutilating human beings. This sounds, unbelievable, but you believe this is really happening?
Yes, I do, and I've had quite a few people ask me about that. That's been one of the more favorite subjects that people have been wanting to hear about. I've been researching cattle populations now for over 20 years, and we've been, pretty much got that down as far as cattle mutilation traits. But it's moved on to other animals, other life forms. We recently received word of kangaroos being mutilated in this way in New Zealand just this last year. And it's also, as you said, has gone on to a few cases of humans being mutilated. I should probably give listeners that aren't real familiar with this just a real quick background on what we do. We characterize a real true mutilation. Mutilation is really a wrong term. It's actually a surgically precise, delicate removal of organs.
Right.
The most commonly removed organs are the sexual organs, at least one eye, one ear, the tongue, and in the female animals, usually the other. We also have, I'm not going to get in too much detail. I know this is a family show, but we have cookie cutter type wounds found on the body. There's complete lack of blood, indicating the animals have been deliberately drained of fluid.
Jim, we're not really a family show, but we do have a photograph you sent us of a human mutilation.
Yeah, I wanted to put up a warning before we showed it because it's pretty gross.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want to warn people. We probably should have done that, but it is upsetting because this is a human being. This particular photograph, Jim, is one you sent us of a gentleman who ended up mutilated in Brazil. And again, families, this is a difficult photograph. Jim, tell us about that.
Okay, there we go.
Well, that's just one photo of many that was sent to me back when this first happened by Brazilian nephrologist Zapata Garcia and Dr. Ruben Goes. And they have a series of photographs and police files on this gentleman at the Garapanga Reservoir that was mutilated and found on an island in the reservoir. And we find no evidence of any human contact, no footprints, any signs of humans around this person whatsoever. We actually did a recreation of this for the History Channel show a few years ago, and we have that up on my website, and take a look at it and get a little bit more idea of what's going on with this.
Jim, we've shown a lot of pictures of the cattle mutilations on this program over the last few years, and one thing that strikes me as soon as you see them is the precision of the cut around the genitals and around the mouth and the eyes. And I don't want to bring that human mutilated picture back, but you can see the same thing around the mouth and the eyes, and just like a cattle mutilation.
What's really funny about the precise cuts, as you say, is that they cut through solid bone. And we're seeing this cut as a very, very high temperature type cut. We've had medical experts look at this, and they describe it as laser type burns. And to have the type of laser that it takes to do that kind of an injury to a human or to an animal would take an 18-wheeler just to have the generator to power it. I'm a biomed tech in my day job full-time. I work around lasers daily in surgery. And there's one thing that medical lasers can't do. They cannot cut bone. And we don't have a way of doing that. There's no known medical device that can cut bone in the way that we're seeing that.
So what? We're always left with the question then, why would anyone go to the trouble of beaming up a cow? Because there are stories in your book about somebody actually witnessing animals being either roped or somehow levitated into a ship. Why would they have to do that? Surely, I don't understand.
It's a good question, and yes, we have reports going back to 1897 of cattle being abducted by strange airships. And this has been going on in the background quietly all these years, and the farmers haven't really been able to make connections and really to understand what's been going on. Why would people do this? Why would the government do this? Why would they need to? They can grow their own cattle.
Sure.
They wouldn't have a need for this. So I pretty much rule out the government doing this.
Yeah, I figure they can grow their own people, too.
What's really interesting is that I recently underwent and I've been recuperating.
You're breaking up a little bit, Jim. Jim, can you back off on your phone receiver just a little bit? Maybe that'll help.
Sure.
You're kind of wavering in and out. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I've recently had some pretty major surgery done, and I come to find out that during the surgery they used something called recombinant human bone morphogenic protein, which is a huge name for a collagen that's made from bovine bone and bovine products. So I am actually have cow parts within my body, help me grow bone back within my neck. And this is one reason that maybe this whole thing is actually happening, is maybe the medical device industry out there is trying to keep patents quiet and trying to keep those billions of dollars of funding coming in on this DNA sequencing that they're finding. They're able to actually use this BMP on humans, bovine growth hormone, on humans, and it's used quite widely, and it's becoming more and more widely used. As the FDA has just recently approved it for human use within the last 3 to 4 years.
I still don't understand why they would have to go and wipe cattle when they could have fields and fields of them on their own. I mean, they do everything else experimentally, and they keep things secret.
But then again, why do they have to give somebody an anal probe? I'm trying to get that in all night.
Itching to get that in all night, Jim. We're going to have to go to our final...
I want to meet an alien, but I don't want to have anything done to my body, okay?
We're going to have to go to a commercial break one more time with Neil Young's Living with War.
Remote viewing, or RV, is a skill that trains the unconscious mind to acquire knowledge about any person, place, thing, or event in the past, present, or future. RV was developed by the CIA and the United States military. These methods have now been formalized into a teachable tool that anyone can master. When Pahrump Pictures needed the world's foremost authority in remote viewing, they turned to Major Ed Dames for direction in the feature film Suspect Zero. Major Dames is a thrice-decorated military intelligence officer and an original member of the United States Army remote viewing training program. No secret can be hidden from a properly trained remote viewer. Push chance aside and take hold of your future. Use remote viewing to get the answers to any question you have. Know anything you want to know. Order Major Dames' remote viewing training set today at learnrv.com.
Is global warming real? Do UFOs and ETs exist? Who is really behind the 9/11 attack? Come to the Little Shop of Knowledge, where books, DVDs, and great conversation might just help you find the answers. Come down to Music, Mind, and Matter. Your inner child screaming to get out? Has stress become your middle name? Then come down to Music, Mind, and Matter, where sound therapy, great books, relaxing music, and aromatherapy can help soothe that savage beast.
What does effective pain relief mean to you? You want relief where it hurts, and you want it to be quick and easy. CM Cream by American Longevity is a unique proprietary blend created over years of development. CM Cream's natural soothing formula is guaranteed to provide deep, penetrating pain relief where you need it most.
With your first order, you'll also receive a special bonus 5-pack of Rebound FX. Call 1-877-277-8008. CM Cream, the pain reliever that really works.
All right, we're back. Our guest is Jim Hickman. Jim, we've only got a couple of moments left, but is this a situation that we as human beings on this planet need to really worry about a sinister group of extraterrestrials?
I don't think it's something that the mass public needs to worry about. It's a rarity that this happens. There's been less than 100 cases reported in the last 100 years. So, no, I'd say they don't need to be worried about it, but I'd be aware of it and be aware of, where you are and make sure that you don't get abducted by these folks and end up like the poor gentleman in Brazil. It's really a bad thing. And
stay away from any glowing rods.
Glowing rods.
Maybe seeking entrance to your body.
He's obsessed with this stuff. I'm telling you.
I love anal probes.
Jim, you've spent many, many years researching this. Why do you keep at this? I mean, it seems like like Richard was just saying, there are some new things that come out, but how many new things happen? Are we on the cusp of real revelation about this?
Well, there's so many things happening all the time. We've gone on cases quite regular. We get reports of UFOs weekly, cattle mutilations almost as often. It's happening around the world. It's not just something here in the United States. And then, what else? There's really...
It's just amazing to me, and I really admire that people can stay with this and examine it so intently for so many years. And we're going to have to go.
In short, keep your pants on. All right, Jim. Thank you for being on the show tonight. We really appreciate it. We haven't done a great alien show for a long time. Thank you.
Visit the website at hickmanreport.com. Good night, Jim.
Well, thanks so much for having me on.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
I haven't. This is our roots.
This is our roots. It absolutely is.
That's how we started, paranormal, aliens, and I love the subject matter. Listen, we just heard from the CEO of the America One Network that we're on, and in 3 months we have grown to the #1 program that they offer. And also go to our website and get one of our official Out There T-shirts. As a matter of fact,
get in here, Charlie.
Our production assistant is one of our. You want to do this? We have
never
done this on the show.
Absolutely.
One of our, this is our key production assistant. Can you come in here between us?
Yes, you can get in here.
And down to my camera.
This is Charlie.
This is Charlie. She's our this is our new Out There official T-shirt.
Official Out There TV.
And the truth will set you free.
Thanks, Charlie. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Go to the website and get this. Not the girl, the shirt. Good night, everybody. And remember, the truth is out there.